you have basically like 2 to 3 months to really get your book off the ground from the time it actually goes to print and it's out there in stores. Like, you have a very limited amount of time to really resonate with people before the next set of books comes out.
That was Jocelyn Delk Adams, and this is episode 64 of the Chopped Podcast. Hey everyone, I'm Marley of the blog Namely Marley. I am your host, and this is the Chopped Podcast. You know this is the podcast for people just like you, bloggers who love food. Each week, my goal is to share with you interviews, thoughts, and stories, everything related to food blogging so that we can all learn together about what works with food blogging, and maybe even a little bit about what doesn't. Today, I'm talking to Jocelyn Delk Adams of the site Grandbaby Cakes. Have you ever thought about writing a cookbook? If so, you have to listen to this interview with Jocelyn Delk Adams. She is a real go-getter, and the process she shares for writing her book and promoting it is amazing. But what if you're not thinking about writing a cookbook? You still want to listen closely because Jocelyn shares her blue sky promotion ideas. Do you know what that is? You know, the pie in the sky, great out of the box thinking kinds of promotion strategies that are just, I found them to be very exciting and encouraging. And I think that promoting a book and promoting a blog, it's all promotion. And there's a lot of great ideas that I think obviously apply to a blog as well as a book. So I think you'll find some great ideas here, whether you're thinking about a book or not. And honestly, Jocelyn is just a lot of fun. She's so animated and passionate about what she does. Even just listening to her voice makes me smile. But first, let's talk chop. Where can you find amazing bloggers like Jessica Merchant of How Sweet Eats and Emma Chapman of A Beautiful Mess, Kara Anzus of Fork and Beans, and Fee Kelnhofer of Sweet Fee, and more all in one place? Well, the only answer that I can think of is the Chopped Conference. We also have streetcars that are in working order in downtown Kansas City. I shared some snaps about them, and I'll be sharing more if you want to follow along on Snapchat. I'm Namely Marley there. So come join me and Kara and Fee and Jessica and Emma and more, and even ride a streetcar for yourself. You can go to choppedcon.com today and click on register to buy your ticket. So let's get straight to today's feature interview with Jocelyn Delk Adams. Okay, everyone, get out those earbuds, turn up the volume, and let's talk about all things food blogging and so much more. Hey everyone, I'm happy to have Jocelyn Delk Adams of the site Grandbaby Cakes on the show today. Jocelyn, welcome to the Chopped Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me. And I'm really looking forward to talking with you today because we're going to be talking about your blog and your book and the promotion strategies you went through and everything about your book. I'm really excited. I think it's a topic that a lot of food bloggers are interested in. But first, I thought it might be good if we could just take a step back and talk a little bit about, what caused you to start your blog in the first place.
Actually, I was very anti-blog because I used to randomly just take photos of recipes that I would make, and like friends would be like, "Oh, this looks so delicious. Like, do you have the recipe? You should start a blog." Specifically, a friend, Leslie, told me to do that. And I was like, no, I'm not really interested. Everybody has a blog. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And at that time, this was like 2012. And blogging, like, I think like maybe around 2007, it was still kind of new and cool. But then around 2012, I started to notice that there were tons of food blogs around. And I was like, I don't really have anything unique to say. That was my standpoint. I didn't have anything unique to say. I didn't have anything unique to add. But after being told like a million times to start one, I, of course, did it. Yeah. Yeah. So just went on and just did it. And I was just going to really just do it as a way to just kind of, keep a hobby and share recipes with friends. And I never knew it would end up being this.
That's amazing. So it's like the critic becomes the converted.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I was like, okay, my mind cannot change on this. I'm not going to, like, you cannot tell me to start this blog. And I ended up starting it. So
I love it. That's so good.
Yeah, I'm such a follower.
Well, I don't know. I think it sounds like you're skeptical, and then you made, you kind of went through your own thought process and finally, decided to do it yourself. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good. So have you always been interested in cooking?
Oh yeah. I've always loved food. I really think I came out of the womb like just happy and excited about food. Like, what am I gonna eat?
I feel
Like
you.
from the first, right, from the first time I probably got to actually taste solid foods, I was probably smitten. And and so like being able to really, and this really kind of comes from what the theme of the blog and my book is. It's really about family, and that's really where that love of food came from. And just being in the kitchen with my grandmother, watching her when I would visit her in Mississippi, and just being around my family in general. They're very big on food, and just the preparation and the love and the care that went into that. I immediately kind of fell in love with that when I was young.
Oh, that's so nice. I think I kind of, I mean, it must be a kindred spirit with you because I'm like, I
Yeah.
just got done with eating lunch and I'm already thinking about like, what's going to be for dinner.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking like a week in advance. I'm like, what am I gonna have in April? Like, that's how much I love food. Okay.
Yeah. But there's so much truth to this idea that, food is about family. I mean, how many dinners or how many get-togethers with family are there when there's not food involved?
Absolutely. Like, there's no get together I want to go to that doesn't have food. So,
Exactly.
it's a crucial part, especially in my family, of what we do. So, yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so then, let's talk a little bit about on the blog side of that because
Yeah.
it's one thing to have these recipes you love to share, but it's another to actually turn it into a blog. So I'm just curious, with the food photography, was that something that, you already knew how to shoot, or did you have to kind of learn how to do the food photography?
Oh my gosh, I had to learn everything except how to cook. And probably and how to write. That was always something I always
Yeah.
enjoyed doing. But the photography, I was always a creative person. I was a mass media major, so
Wow.
I had an undergraduate focus in film and television, but that was more behind the scenes. So I think I had some idea visually of what might work, but I really started out just using my iPhone and going back and looking at my photos when I first started. I mean, they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. They're in my kitchen, like quick snaps, throw them on the blog. I really had no idea how much went into the food photography aspect.
Yeah.
And I really started to just follow as many different food blogs as I could in the beginning. And then I realized I was like, I think I need to maybe upgrade here. Like, I think I might need to take this a little bit more seriously than like this quick iPhone snap I'm doing. So I started using my dad's DSLR camera. He had one, and I was using that for a little bit, and then I ended up buying some lenses and really just trying to invest and learn as much as I could, changing where I actually shot, which was like in my dim kitchen originally. And then
Yeah.
I moved everything to the living room and got props and the whole nine. So I am definitely self-taught, and it's really important, like when you don't know anything about that, it's just to surround yourself with as much knowledge, and read and look at as many photos as you possibly can, so you can learn about lighting and food styling and all of that.
I love that. And just having that playful, mindset so that you're trying
Yeah,
different things. Yeah, it's really
all the
important.
time. Yeah,
Yes,
try as much as you can all the time.
I love it. So, okay, what's your favorite part about food blogging so far?
I will say that originally, of course, I came into it with the love of food.
Mm,
And I was actually surprised how much I loved the food photography once I actually started to expand my knowledge,
mm.
and just the creativity that goes into it, and even the writing. Sometimes I'm just like over it, and I just need to get a post up, and then
Yeah.
that's the
Yes.
truth. No one wants to tell you that, but sometimes they're over it, and they're like, "This is delicious.
Just eat
Enjoy."
it.
Yeah, just eat it. Here's the
Yeah.
recipe, right? And then
Yes.
other times, like they really have something to say, and sometimes I have something to say, and then I'm really excited about the writing portion. But I think because of my Gemini tendencies, it really changes every month. So it could be photography that I love, and then I could turn around and it could absolutely be the excitement of being in the kitchen again, or I could be totally bored with that. And,
Yeah.
it really depends.
I feel the same way. Like sometimes I am so totally into the social media, and other times I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I
Over
don't want
it.
to see Instagram ever again. Or,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way.
yeah. Well, I just want to tell you, I love your site name, and I'm just curious if you've got a story behind that.
Oh, I do. So, people ask a lot about that name because it's kind of a weird name for a blog. Like I haven't seen a name like that, and it's kind of catchy, I think.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it was kind of twofold. So it came from, of course, the family aspect and being inspired by my grandmother and my grandparents always calling me the grandbaby. And yeah, so I was like, I want to add that in. But then I also had this nickname. Like when I became an adult and I started to bake and sell cakes for people, they would always call me baby cakes. So I kind of just married all three words together. I was like, grandbaby cakes.
I
There you
love
go.
it.
So that's kind of how that happened.
That's really great. So did you say you were making cakes professionally?
I wasn't really professionally. Like people would I was at my job at one point and people would just ask me to like bake a cake for them and they pay
Yes.
me $20.
Yeah.
And I ended up selling like maybe like 100 of those in like the course of a few months, from people just randomly coming by like, can I get a cake?
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, this is way better though
Yeah.
than doing that. Like,
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so one of the main reasons I asked you to join me today was to talk about the cookbook that you've written, which is also
yeah,
called Grandbaby Cake. So,
it is.
how
Yeah.
perfect. It's almost
Yeah.
like you planned it that way.
I know. I wonder if I did, like subconsciously. Yeah.
So, can you talk about that process and, how that came to be for you? I mean, did you pitch an
Yeah.
agent or did they reach out to you?
I actually had two agents reach out to me around the exact same time.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I was really kind of like shocked at the time because I felt like I was a baby blogger. I still feel like I'm a baby blogger in a lot of ways. They both kind of reached out to me and I ended up going with the agent that first approached me because we had already kind of started chatting about ideas. And yeah, we wrote a proposal together. And the funny thing is that the original proposal that I wrote was not the book that I ended up writing.
Wow.
Yeah, so like the original proposal that I wrote was on pies, which I know a lot about, but
Yeah.
the my publisher, they ended up saying, like, when we were in the process of talking and coming up with confirming whether we would work together, or just really in the beginning stages of feeling each other out, they asked my agent, they said, we're really interested in Jocelyn. We think she has a great and unique voice, but we're wondering why she doesn't want to write a book about cakes, with the name Grandbaby Cakes. And we just think it's like a natural fit. And for some reason, the light bulb hadn't gone off at that point for like any of us. And we
Yeah.
were like, well, duh. I mean, I guess that does make sense
Yes.
for, an entryway book, for it to actually be, branded the name of what I technically already have a brand name for,
Yes.
that it just made sense, that it clicked with people. And I was like, actually, I love cake, clearly the name Grandbaby Cakes,
Yeah.
and it would make sense. And I felt really energized and excited and inspired by what the possibilities could be for a book like that.
Doesn't that just speak to the power of collaboration?
Oh, it does.
I mean,
Absolutely.
so many times I think we're just in the thick of things that we can't see something that obvious, and somebody else
That
from the outside,
obvious,
it's like
right?
immediate. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was like, thinking about it. It's like, hey, I'm gonna write a book on pizza, and they're like, no, like,
Make it
duh, it's a
cakes.
grandbaby cakes. Like, how about that? And it was just clear. It was like very clear at that moment.
I just think it's another thing that it's almost like maybe we could call this blogger syndrome or something. We have to be very careful because we get so much into our own heads. It's
Oh
good to be able to
yeah.
shoot ideas off of other people.
Oh, all the time. And I make it a point. I like that you said that because I always make it a point to talk to people who aren't bloggers. I think
Wow.
sometimes we're a little too much in our blogger circle, and the funny thing is, a lot of times we all have the same ideas
Hmm.
because we're influenced by the same things.
Right. I think that's just so smart because I think that also, if we're only talking to other bloggers, I think it tends to make us start writing for other bloggers.
Oh, absolutely. I think that we write for other bloggers. I think that we think in terms of our brand for other bloggers too. And the
Yeah.
reality is that the majority of people who are following us don't know anything about that world.
Yes. That's so true. I mean, I can find myself all the time. I have these kind of unwritten rules in my head about what I want to do with my blog. And then I realize, wait a minute, do I have this rule because this is what's best for my audience? Or am I doing this because this is what I've seen other bloggers do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's why it's also good to follow other blogs outside of food blogging too, because I feel like a lot of my friends are food bloggers, and
Yes.
we shoot ideas off of each other, and I'm just like, hey, we all think the same. Like I'm not really, not really like expanding or like broadening my horizons here. So it's
Yes.
always good to think in terms of what other people think too.
I love it. Very good tips. Okay. So can you talk about the steps that are involved with publishing a book? You just talked about an agent, and then from there you
Yeah.
created a book proposal, and then talked with the publisher. Are there other steps
Yeah.
involved?
Yeah, so I think that and this is my process because I know a lot of times, and this is like a something I've seen happen a lot more recently, is that you will sometimes, or bloggers will sometimes totally skip this process of even working with a literary agent, and they will go straight to a publisher that has approached them and sign on the dotted line that way. And you skip a lot of these steps of going through the process of actually writing out a proposal and really thinking through like what a book from you would actually be like. And I think
Hmm.
that that process is really important before you actually start to write a book. And it helped me, even though the process was, I mean, the book idea was very different towards the end, but thinking about the marketing strategies,
Yeah.
thinking about, who has written similar books, those things that
Hmm.
you add to your proposal, they're very, very helpful in kind of streamlining your ideas and thinking about the recipes that would actually be a good fit for your book. So even if you like, if some bloggers skip that process, I think that it's still good to actually do even just a mimic proposal for your own self. Just so you can think about those things as you're writing. But to long story short, once you do that, once you've actually gotten an agent and you've written the proposal and that's been shopped and you have a publisher that's interested and you guys sign on the dotted line, then comes the fun part, which is actually writing the book. And fun or like traumatizing depending on how you view it. Like it was probably both for me.
I
Like
bet.
I'm still very traumatized by my whole experience of just, and this has had nothing to do with anyone except for just me
Yeah.
and the pressure I put on myself during the full 5 months of writing my book.
Mm.
But I tried to approach it very strategically and probably ran myself into like the ground trying to keep my blog going and also keeping the book going. Because, for me, I had 50 recipes, and because they were cake recipes, they were very elaborate. And
Mm.
cake is,
Right.
baking is such a science. There were some cakes I baked maybe 15
Oh my
times.
gosh. Yeah.
It was insane. It was insane.
Yes.
And just going through that process and also actually putting myself in the frame of mind to actually write, because I really wanted to. I think I had a different goal than some bloggers, that I wanted a very personal book that
Mm.
almost read like a memoir in some ways. So I really wanted to focus a lot on the writing. I wanted to be personal, and I wanted people to connect with the stories of my family and these memories, and see their own families inside of this book.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, so I really wanted to, that was really important to me. So I really focused a lot on the writing, a lot, a lot, a lot. And then I had 30 testers who actually, volunteer testers who actually took recipes and tested them from the book. Some people tested 2 recipes. Someone even tested 3 recipes. And, they would give me like full feedback on everything, like whether this was good, whether this instruction needs to change, whether this timing was different. All of that was really instrumental in creating really good, strong recipes that other people understand besides yourself.
Right,
So, like,
exactly.
which is really important. Like, you know how you think in terms, like, you may like say, oh, well, that's understood because you know how to do something, but
Yes.
it's totally different when you hand it off to someone else and they have no prior knowledge of, your vision for the recipe or
Yeah.
how it's supposed to turn out. So that was actually really good learning
How did you
experience
find
for
those
me.
recipe testers?
I actually just put out a question. Like I put out like I think like a status on my Facebook like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to test my recipe. I've got or recipes for the cookbook. Is anyone interested? And I got so many people who responded and were
Oh,
like,
that's
yeah, I want to
great.
tell. Yeah, it was awesome. And I put everyone's name in the cookbook as a thank you. Every single tester.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I was very grateful for all. I mean, it was
Right.
an amazing experience. That's a lot of time out of their day, and I was grateful for all of their tips on how to enhance the book. But yeah,
Wow.
you do that, and then I also shot the food photography for the book.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. Okay, so you did.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a lot of pressure too.
oh my gosh, it was so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Like I definitely needed a Xanax after that experience. Like it was like because like I mean like I loved having the creative control and I worked with a stylist and two stylists, like a friend who did the actual prop styling. She has like all these incredible props and buys
Mm.
them and I was like, you need to like style my book, and I gave her money for like props and everything. And then I had a food stylist and he was just absolutely incredible and we had a great vibe. They would all come over like once a week over the weekends and we would work together,
Did you put on good
coming up with
music?
ideas. We would just eat cake. Like that's I think that was my
That would set
thank
the
you to
mood.
them. Yeah, that would set the mood. Cake always sets the mood
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would shoot like maybe 10 recipes in a day over the weekend.
Oh, wow, that is a lot of recipes to
It
shoot.
is. It is. Like I know some
Yeah.
people go like one at a time, like as they're developing it, but I would actually just like freeze the cake layers and like put them at room temperature when we would shoot, and we would build them and we would shoot them back to back to back to back to back and knock them all out
Oh,
in a
that's
day.
smart. What a great idea. And you know what? It's nice about freezing them is they probably set up a little bit better for the picture
Oh, they
too.
do. They really do. And so yeah, they were sturdier. It was just a great experience to do that.
Are you on Snapchat?
I am not.
Oh, you
I
need to get on
technically
Snapchat.
am. I
Yes.
technically am, but like I gotta say, like I hate it. Like I hate Snapchat. And like it's like I tried it like twice and I was like, okay, I'm
You
not gonna be bullied into doing it. But like
No,
why
don't
should
be
I do
bullied,
it?
but there are some fun things about it. And I follow Matt Armendariz. Do you know
Oh,
Matt?
I heard his is great. Oh my gosh, he has the best photos in the land.
He does
Yes.
have beautiful photos, and so he'll like show some of his photo shoots, and they're putting on this great music, and I think, oh, that's what I want my photo shoots to be like.
Oh my, okay, now I just want to go on just to follow
Just
him.
follow
Like I
Matt and
don't
don't
think
worry about
yeah.
anything else.
Okay, well then sold. Okay, sold.
Yes, because he'll show some of the background of his food photo shoots and just all kinds of stuff like that, and it's really fun. I love that.
Yeah, his stuff is amazing.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about that when you're shooting 10 recipes in a day, man,
Oh my
you got to make that
God.
fun. Otherwise
You
it's,
have to make it. It was just like and all I had. Well, I had cake at the end, but it was like a lot of work, and we did
yeah.
that at least like five. We did that 5, 6 times. We did a couple reshoots, and yeah, here and there. It was crazy.
Wow. It's an amazing, but at the same time, you've got a spirit of collaboration because you've got a couple other people. If you're doing that by
Oh
yourself,
yeah,
that would have been really
it
hard.
was so much more fun doing it with other
Yes.
people. Yeah, we had great chemistry.
Oh, that's too cool. Okay. So what about promotion of your book? Is that something that your publisher helped you with?
Yeah, so this is a question I get asked a lot because my book has been featured like everywhere.
Oh, that's
And
great.
oh my God, it's been featured everywhere since it came out last fall. It was featured by People magazine, it was featured by Vanity Fair. I was on Rachel Ray twice. I was on the Today Show like maybe 3 weeks ago. It's been in every magazine almost, like everywhere. It was
Wow.
in Southern Living this past week. It was in O Magazine the month before that.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
been everywhere, and It's been literally kind of crazy. I was on the Hallmark Channel. It's like, to say that I've pretty much like given as much as I can to this book would be an understatement. And I think that it's been an amazing, once again, collaboration
Yeah.
between me and my publisher, and and an outside publicist that we also have for a short term, and really just thinking outside the box, because a book's life, people think you have basically like 2 to 3 months to really get your book off the ground from the time it actually goes to print and it's out there in stores. Like, you have a very limited amount of time to really resonate with people
Mhm.
before the next set of books comes out. And my advice is to really just like pull all of your contacts, think of everyone who may know someone somewhere, and to really just, hit the ground running as early as possible to get people thinking about your book or how it might be a good fit for something, and to never stop promoting the book. So I've seen tons of friends have books come out and they're done promoting it in maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
And here I am, and it's March, and I'm still promoting my book.
And when did it release?
It came out in September last year,
Wow, that's great.
and big things are still happening for it.
It sounds to me too like, you also were promoting it before it even came out.
Oh yeah, I did. I did my own trailer for the book, and I put that out just from like a grassroots standpoint. I
Wow,
put
that's
that
great.
trailer out. Yeah, I
A
put that
video
trailer
trailer?
out. Yes, a video trailer, and it was the cutest thing ever. And I'm
Aw.
not biased, I promise. But we really thought outside the box with that. Like, we actually hired actors for it because the book is all about family, and so we had a little girl who played Little Me, and we had a woman play a grandmother, and really kind of showcased some of, like, that relationship and showing them baking in the kitchen together, and it was really well received.
Wow, that is such a great idea. It sounds, you were really thinking outside of the box on this.
Absolutely, and I think that is so important. Like, we thought about brand relationships and partnerships, and I had an incentive for people who pre-ordered the book through Fat Daddios, where they got cake pans.
Ah,
Yeah, we did a partnership with KitchenAid while I was on the road. I went on the road a lot, and still actually just came back from being on the road, doing events and book signings and food demos. And I even did a partnership with Ancestry.com, which was totally out of the box and really, really
it is.
cool. Like, really, really cool, but also a really awesome fit. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a food brand that people would think in terms of, oh, you're a food blogger, you have to do something with a food brand. No, this was just a great idea, and it worked really well, and it was great promotion for the book as well.
Yeah, I totally love that. And I just think, like, I don't know, this is probably a stupid analogy, but in the business world, they talk about, never let your employee, when you're going to give them a review, it shouldn't be a
Yeah.
surprise. Like, they should
Yeah.
know what to expect. And I feel like that's kind of what you did with this book. People knew what to expect, but at the same time, you were just out there promoting it and they were ready and waiting for it. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I wanted it to speak to people, and so you got to think in terms of like who your audience is,
Yeah.
and not just doing what everyone else does. So, because there are so many books, there's so many cookbooks that come out every
Yes.
single year. You got to think in terms of how can you be different.
Well, and the idea of hiring an actor, what a great idea, to
Yeah.
have a little girl and the grandmother in the trailer for your book is a great idea. I
Yeah,
love it.
people loved it. This was like the cutest little couple ever, like
Aw.
video couple ever.
And don't you think that's something cool about food blogging too? Is that we don't really have those limitations. We can do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, we absolutely can. It was fun, and people shared it, and they went and bought the book right away, which was exciting. So yeah, I think
Yes.
I think that's always fun.
And I'm sure you already know this, but having such a great round of press for your first book means that the second book is definitely going to happen, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, fingers crossed, because so many people loved that first book. They get excited about, okay, well, I get asked a lot, what's the next book going to be, or when are you writing the next book? And I think that, that's a testament to how well received the first book was.
Yeah, you just have to go through personal recovery first, right?
Oh, I know, like, and therapy too.
Is cake part of that therapy?
It's always part of that therapy.
At least you're not sick of it by now. That's good.
I was sick of it for a while, but I know we're so far removed from when I was testing. I was
Yeah.
over it for a really long time, and I was like all about ice cream and like cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm all, I'm back to it. I'm back to everything. I love everything now. So
Well, that's another question I was going to ask you, and that is,
yeah.
I've asked this of other bloggers before, and I'm always curious about people's response, but are you able to maintain personal health goals while you are also testing all these recipes? It's got to be hard.
It's so hard, but I do like people ask me all the time, like, how am I able to stay like, reasonably fit, like, while eating like cake and like testing all this crazy stuff all the time.
Yes.
And I'm really a product of moderation. And I
Yeah.
eat like funny thing is this year I started eating mostly paleo most of the time. So
Hmm.
like I do cheats like on the weekends, but like during the week I'm pretty like straightforward with the diet and that kind of helps me too.
Oh, that's a great plan. So in other words, during the week you can be super strict, and then on the
Oh
weekends
yeah.
that's when you let yourself test and try and
Oh yeah, and when
yeah.
I'm testing food, like people think like, oh, I just tested a whole pie. That means I have to consume the whole pie. No, you
No,
don't.
you don't.
Like it's
Yeah.
taste it, see what needs to be changed. My husband tastes it. Like we do not sit around and just eat pie all day. That's
Yeah.
insane. And I'm so used to it. Like it's fine. I don't really need it like that. So
Yeah.
I know what works. I know what doesn't. I know what needs to be tweaked. Make those changes, taste and go.
I consider it a huge victory in my life to live. I cohabitate with home baked cookies, and I'm not down there like eating
Yeah,
them
oh
all.
my God. Right.
Yes.
Like at some point you have like I
Yes.
mean, I probably didn't get self-control until I was like 30, but like, but like
Yeah.
at some point it develops and you're like, I don't need to eat like a
Every
dozen
cookie.
cookies tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually really like a cookie when I'm freshly baked, when
Me
just out
too.
of the oven. And then after
Me
that, I don't really
too.
like them as much anymore. So,
I don't, I'm the exact same way. Like, I like it nice and warm and
yes.
gooey.
Yeah.
And once I have that one, I'm fine.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Once it's old, I don't need it.
I don't like them after that. Yeah, I really don't. I'm not even
Me
tempted by them.
either. Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Yep.
done. Like I'm done at that point.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one like that. I was beginning to get
Oh
worried.
no. Oh no. I love them straight out of the oven too.
Good. Okay, so I love that. It's a great tip for everybody. Moderation. You're not saying don't have the cookie. You're just saying, have it in moderation, and I also love the idea of staying, fairly strict throughout the week is a great
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, and please have the cookie. I want to actually say that. Please have the cookie. I think some people are just a little too strict with their diet. I
Yeah.
mean, this is life. Like, please
Yes.
enjoy your life. Like,
Right.
and I have to say that because I make cakes and I sell cakes, in a
Yeah.
book. But it's true. Like, I just feel like you're robbing yourself of enjoyment if you're too strict. It's
I
just not that
agree.
serious.
Right. You've got to find that balance in your life. It's got to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Like maybe we could kind of change gears, unless you have anything else you want to
Yeah.
share about the book part.
Oh, no, I'm
Okay.
fine. We can change gears.
Okay, good. So let's talk a little bit about your blog itself, because I'm always
Yeah.
intrigued by the things that go on the back end of a blog. So, for example, you talked about how you were blogging at the same time as writing the book, and it
Yeah.
got to be a little stressful. Do you have a goal of like how often that you post during the week?
That has really changed. Like in the beginning when fresh blogger, I was
Yeah.
posting 3 times a week. And I actually somewhat maintained that when I was writing my book, which was insane.
I bet.
Yeah. And then like last year, like around the time I started promoting the book and the book started to come out, I went down to about 2, and this year it's been like about 1 a week.
You've got a lot going on.
It's been a lot going on, and I actually haven't beaten myself up about it. Like I feel totally fine with the 1 per week.
Well, you're probably out there in so many different areas. I mean, really, if you look at things
Yeah.
like Facebook and Instagram, I mean, those are kind of like mini blogs. And so you're really
Oh
out there a lot
yeah.
already.
And I've been traveling so much that
Yeah.
I don't feel, yeah, I don't feel guilty about it. I used to actually feel bad, like if I didn't have like at least 2 posts a week, and I've totally gotten over that. It's fine.
Oh, That's good. I love it. So
Yeah.
can you talk about, when you have a blog post that you're ready? I'd love
Yeah.
this kind of like what goes into making that happen. Could you share a little bit? Like, let's say you just have a new cake recipe, and how would that look for you as far as posting that?
Yeah, so for me, it starts with like I have like this huge Google Doc of
Yeah.
like tons of ideas that I want to do, and they're kind of like it's gotten bigger and bigger as the years gone by. Like if I didn't get to these three things, like they get shuffled to the next year and then the next year, and at the beginning of each year, I kind of set up a new document that kind of has things laid out by week, by month. So it's
Mm.
very detailed. I'm very type A.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm very type A, and it helps me to know exactly what I plan on posting. And those things, of course, change. If I get new brand opportunities and I have to, change things around, or I have to post something here instead during this week, and I'm able to shuffle things around and actually see the big picture, which is much easier for me.
Mm.
But like I try to actually work ahead. So if I, like, for instance, I did something on Sunday that won't be posted until April. And it's very helpful for me because my schedule changes so much,
Yeah.
and I just got back from a trip, and I'm going on another trip soon, and it's good to just have things backlogged. So if I get like incredibly lazy, which I did today, where I planned to do some recipes and I did nothing, then I don't feel bad about it at all because I know that I have some stuff kind of lingering. But once I do that, like I basically get up early in the morning, and I bake the recipe or make the recipe because I really love to shoot things in the morning
Mm.
and set things up. I go into my living room where I shoot. I download the photos, edit them. I like to put them in the queue, and I may even start to write that post, and it could be maybe a week or two ahead. And then I might change some things around in the interim, but then it may go up, or I'll set it up and schedule it to run in about 2 weeks.
Ah, that's great. It sounds like a great process. And I just wanted to comment on the downtime. I think that's so important
Yeah.
as creatives. We don't often give ourselves the time to just have downtime.
Oh yeah, and I haven't really had a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
Like 2015 was like the year of no downtime. Like literally no downtime. And so this year I'm really trying to make up with that. Like I'm trying to be as lazy as possible sometimes.
Yeah.
Like and it's okay.
It's okay. It's
It's
definitely
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well
okay.
deserved, actually.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's okay.
So when you publish a post, do you have them like they're automatically going out to social media, or do you do all that manually?
I actually do all of that manually. So I have like a checklist, and once I have like a new post go out in the morning, I hit all the sharing groups. I'm setting up shares on Facebook, Twitter, and setting up new shares on Pinterest, and then like closer to the evening, that's when I share on Instagram because that's when I get more engagement.
Hmm.
And then, of course, like just sharing on websites, and then, just getting other people to share it too. So, like, I really try to do as much as that of that in the mornings. And I actually do that every morning. Like, I wake up around 7 and I hit all the sharing groups on my Facebook, and I try to tidy up old posts sometimes if I can, and just do as much sharing on Pinterest. Do knock all of that out early in the morning, and then I have most of the day to do what I need to do.
So I'm intrigued by your checklist. What's on that checklist? Just your to do
Yeah.
with each blog post?
Yeah, it's mostly social media. So like it's did I get this on Pinterest? Did I create a collage for Pinterest for this new recipe? Did I put it on Food Spotting? Did I put it on or Food Gawker? Did I put it
Yeah.
on Taste Spotting? Did I drop this in like a pin it share group on Facebook, and just continuing like to do those things, and then did I set this up to go on Facebook later twice during the day? And so, just doing those sorts of things and setting it up, and running it even on Twitter. Like, did I share this? Did I share this on Instagram? That's basically what my checklist looks like.
Oh, that's great. And do you keep that in a spreadsheet or do you actually print this out and
No, I keep it in a spreadsheet.
very
Google
good.
Docs. I'm all about Google Docs.
I love Google Docs too. It's really
Me too.
nice.
It's great. It's
Yes.
great.
Yeah, I like that, it's all there and I actually have it on my phone too, so if I'm out and about, I can always grab a document.
Yeah, me too. I have it on my phone too.
Yeah. Because we don't want to be away from our work ever.
Never. Never. There's not ever a time where I don't need to be like completely obsessed and tied to my phone. Like
I
even
know,
during
exactly.
no matter where I am. It's terrible.
I know, I know. So what's your number one tip for helping someone who may be trying to grow their audience? Maybe they're new to food blogging.
Well, I think one good thing that people never really talk about is like, what is your focus?
Mm,
What is really kind of narrowing in on what your niche is? Because I think with like millions of food blogs now,
mm-hmm.
and there's more people coming out every single day,
Right.
that the only way you can differentiate yourself is really to have a focus and to for people to say, oh, this person is really great with this.
Right.
You can never satisfy everybody. You shouldn't even try. You
Yes.
shouldn't even look to be the blog that's for everyone, because that's like the surefire way to fail. Like, find out what you're amazing at, find out what you're really really great at, and make that like the main focus of your blog, and people can find you that way.
That's great advice. And then, once you find that, become the go-to source for that topic.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
be that person.
someone wants to know how to, if you're all about beets, then you become the go-to resource for beets.
Exactly. And I mean, the funny thing is, like, you would think, oh, well, that narrows my audience, but it really doesn't. It,
I
it actually
know.
helps you. It
Yes.
actually helps you find the people who need you the most. And
Right.
they will be diehard and they will be loyal because that's what they need.
Yes, exactly. And it helps them find you too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very cool. Okay, so what's coming up next for you? Anything you can share?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to take a vacation. I know that's totally random,
That's
but
wonderful.
but I haven't taken a vacation. So I'm going to take a vacation, and
Nice.
I'm actually going to get back to blogging a little bit, because I actually haven't really been able
Yeah.
to blog so much. And so because I've actually been all book, and it's been a lot of crazy TV stuff, and I've been focusing on that because I eventually want a TV show, and I want to do those sorts of things. So really kind of balancing all of that has been a little bit crazy. But I'm doing a craftsy class, which is coming out soon. So I'll be going to Denver to take that. So you guys can look for that soon, and it'll be
Oh, cool.
cakes, which will be fun. And yeah, just getting back to blogging, and really just kind of and I'm thinking
Reconnecting with
about
your
another
people.
book too. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
and reconnecting,
Yeah.
reconnecting.
That's really cool. So when you go on your vacation, are you going to do any work? Or are you going to try to just,
No.
good for you?
I went on vacation last year to Mexico, and I literally turned off all of my email. I had no idea what was
Mm.
going on. It was amazing.
Isn't
It
it
was
terrible?
amazing.
It's hard how it bothers me how hard that is sometimes.
To unplug, it's
Yes.
the best thing ever. It's so hard, but once
Yeah.
you like I lied on the beach like every single day with a book
Nice.
and like a margarita, and it was
Oh, that
fantastic.
sounds so good.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we are at the end of the interview, and I just have a couple of fun questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
So, what's one food item you can't live without?
I'm really going through a taco phase right now. It's so weird,
Yeah?
and I don't know when it started, but it's like it's obsessive. It's insane.
Are you doing the street taco thing or
I
hard
am
taco?
doing the street taco thing, and there's a
Yes.
place that delivers to me that like should
Uh-oh.
know me, but like I literally Grubhub this place like twice a week. It's unbelievable how much I like ordered these tacos, and I'm not over them, and I have no idea when it started.
Or when it will be over.
Right, or when it will be over. Like I don't know that it will be over, but it's like my main. I'm gonna have those tacos today, actually. Like, to be frank, but like I mean, like I'm gonna have them later. So yeah, I'm enjoying tacos right
Can't
now.
you kind of convince yourself that they're kind of healthy, right?
They're kind of healthy, like
Yeah.
cilantro and like
Yes.
there's some stuff there.
Yeah. That's good. I like that favorite food. It's a good one.
It is. It
Okay,
is.
what's the favorite app on your phone?
Instagram.
Oh, that's a good app.
Oh my gosh, Instagram. It's one of those things. Like, I don't know when the obsession started, but it started and it's taken over. I love Instagram. I love it so much.
That is so cool. And I recently interviewed somebody that's an Instagram expert, and one thing that I was doing wrong
Oh,
was that she suggested that make sure that your feed is something that you are in love with.
yeah.
And I
I'm
missed
all
that
about
book.
my feed now. Like, I
Yes.
feel like once I really started focusing on just sharing the things that I absolutely love,
Yeah.
and really just giving a piece of me, like my Instagram really started to grow.
Yes, that's the thing. You've got to really, be in touch with yourself and start sharing that stuff.
Yes,
Okay, so do
absolutely.
you have time for TV at all? And if so, what's your favorite show?
Oh my God. So I do have time for TV. We are big Netflix people in
Me
my
too,
house,
yeah.
so we've already finished House of Cards, like, already.
Don't tell me how it ends because we're in the middle.
Okay, we've already finished it. We finished it last
I
weekend. It
love
was,
that show.
oh my gosh, I love that show. I'm so obsessed.
I actually got my hair cut just like Robin Wright.
Oh my God, no, Claire.
Yes,
Oh my God.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's really
and
cool.
there's something about the Underwoods that just make me feel like, I don't know, like maybe there's something wrong with me. Like, I need to add this to the therapy list. But I love them. Like, it's
I
like
know.
I love them.
They do
Yeah.
such terrible things, and yet I
Terrible
want
things, and I
them.
love them. I know.
Yes. It's a little like Breaking Bad. I felt bad
Oh my
for,
God, I was obsessed with Breaking Bad too. So yeah,
yes, how
that's a series that I absolutely love. Will go down in history as one of my favorite shows.
yes, exactly. Like the brother-in-law was doing the right thing. He was going to turn him in, and
And I never wanted Eisenberg to go down. I never did. I didn't. I actually wanted him to escape it all. Like,
I did
I was like,
too.
I did. Like, a part of me just wanted him to escape it all.
And he did not deserve it. So it's like I was completely confused by all that. Very
It was
confusing.
crazy. I know at all. I was, yeah, something to talk about in therapy.
Yes, exactly. It must be a sign of a good writer when they can make you like the bad guy.
I know. You totally sympathize with him. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Jocelyn, how can people find you online?
They can go to grandbaby-cakes.com. They can find me on pretty much all social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe Snapchat one day. But it's pretty much all Grandbaby Cakes. Twitter is just Grandbaby Cake. But and Pinterest too, yeah, Grandbaby Cakes.
Wonderful. Jocelyn, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I had a great time.
Me too. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Thanks so much to Jocelyn Delk Adams for being my guest on today's episode of the Chopped Podcast. Be sure to go to choppedpodcast.com to learn the latest about today's show, and you can sign up for our newsletter to get in on the latest about food blogging. Tune in next week as I talk to Kathleen Shannon from the podcast Being Boss about working in partnerships and, of course, authenticity. I couldn't talk with Kathleen without going into the topic of authenticity. She's all about that. Wow, it is such a great interview. I can't wait to share it with you. I hope you're loving the Chopped Podcast. You can show your support for this show by leaving a review on iTunes or Stitcher. You can also share about the show on social media or even leave a link on your own blog or podcast. And I love getting your emails too. It all means so much. I hope you know that you inspire me so much, and I hope today's show was helpful and inspirational to you as well. Thanks for listening and have a great week.